It would be great if all of the customs and rituals in our Jewish tradition made perfect rational sense, right? That'd be great. We could just scroll down a list, find a custom, a ritual, or mitzvah in the sense of a commandment or obligation, more the traditional rabbinic sense, not the colloquial sense, modern colloquial sense. We find the list, go down, then trace our finger across to the next column labeled reason for doing, right? And find the answer there. We could then just nod our head and say, oh yeah, that seems pretty clear. That's great. That makes sense. Unfortunately, our tradition doesn't always work that way, as is evidenced not just by the brief reference I made in Nachmanides' comment earlier to the mysterious question of what was Moses' sin in terms of the incident with the rock, right? And we're not quite sure what the answer is to that. Also in our Parsha, the very first verses of our Parsha present a bit of a bizarre ritual called the red heifer ritual, which was a purification ritual after someone has come into contact with a dead body. It's bizarre for a number of reasons, not the least of which is this particularly strange component of the ritual, that the person upon whom the mixture of ashes of the red heifer are sprinkled becomes ritually pure, whereas the priest who carried out the ritual and poured the mixture on the individual to help purify him or her becomes impure himself, along with his garments. Said more succinctly, the ritual both purifies and renders impure at the same time. So this is, according to our rabbis, one of the classic examples of a chok, a divine statute that doesn't have a logical explanation, and yet we're still obligated to follow. Now, if we were a school-age child, and we read the red heifer ritual passage, aside from our eyes potentially glazing over a little bit, and asking if this ritual still happens today, which it doesn't, since there's no sacrificial worship anymore, we might ask our parents, why were our ancestors supposed to do this? And my guess is their answer would probably be, because the Torah says so, or maybe perhaps more likely, because that's just the way things are. That's a sort of a standard parent answer. That's just the way it works, right? We kind of punt it a little bit. We don't really have a great, perfect answer. We just say, yeah, that's just the way it works. It doesn't always feel very satisfying to get an answer like that. But as a child, we would more often than not just accept the answer given because we knew that our parents had been around a lot longer than we had, so they must have had a pretty good idea of the way the world works. And if they weren't concerned about it, we probably shouldn't be either. Just asking one's elder, be it a parent, a grandparent, a great-grandparent, or other relative, teacher, mentor, friend, or neighbor to weigh in on major and even minor curiosities in our Jewish tradition and in our world speaks to the value of their accumulated experience and wisdom. We seek to unearth, access, and appreciate the treasure trove of knowledge our elders have gained through many years of living life and fully engaging with the world around us. Accordingly, we are taught in Parshat Kedoshim, in Vayikra, in Leviticus 19:32, Mipnei seva takum, v'hadarta pnei zaken, v'yaretem Elohecha ani Adonai. Translated in the Etz Chaim as, you shall rise before the aged and show deference to the old, you shall fear your God, I am the Lord. And translated a bit more richly by poet Danny Siegel as, you shall rise before an elder and allow the beauty, glory, and majesty of their faces to emerge. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel of blessed memory once wrote that what we owe the old is reverence, but all they ask for is consideration, attention, not to be discarded and forgotten. What they deserve is preference, yet we do not even grant them equality. Even if we're not constantly picking the brains of our elders and benefiting from their rich insight, us to treat them with respect well earned for their contributions to their family, friends, community, and world. Along these lines, there's a powerful midrash, a powerful rabbinic legend in Vayikra Rabbah 25:5, when the reviled, or at least certainly by the Jewish tradition reviled, Roman Emperor Hadrian is on the road to Tiberias in northern Israel. And while he's traveling, he comes across an old man who is standing and digging trenches to plant shoots of fig trees. So he encounters this man, and Hadrian mockingly calls out to him, graybeard, graybeard, and says, if you had gotten up early to do the work, and what he meant by that is if you had started this when you were younger, right, it wasn't about that day, you would not have had to work late, meaning you wouldn't be working into your old age. That was his mocking comment to the old man. And the man answered Hadrian as follows: I have worked early and am working late. And let the Lord of heaven do as God pleases. Hadrian responds, by your life, old man, how old actually are you right now? And the man tells him he's 100 years old. Hadrian continues, you're 100 years old, and yet you're standing here digging trenches to plant shoots of fig trees. Do you ever hope to actually be able to eat any of them? And the man replied, and this might remind some of the story of Choni the circle drawer, right? Another similar type tale in our tradition. The man replied, if I'm worthy, I'll eat. And if not, then as my forebears have worked for me, so will I work for my children. Right? So if I'm able to be alive and eat the bounty of this, terrific. And if not, it'll be planted for future generations, just as these trees were planted for me. Perhaps mocking him, perhaps genuinely curious to see how things would play out, Hadrian makes the man swear that if he does indeed have the opportunity to eat the figs from the trees, he has to come before Hadrian with the figs. Sure enough, in time, the trees produce figs while the man is still alive. So he brings a basket of them to Hadrian's palace, and once he manages to get himself into the palace and show the emperor his figs, Hadrian commands that a chair of gold be set up for the man and that he get to sit in it, as well as that his basket of figs be emptied out and replaced and filled with gold denarii coins. So basically give him a rich reward. His servants, the king's servants, the emperor's servants, are stunned by this order. They say, are you really going to show all this honor to this old Jew that just walked into your palace? And Hadrian's answer, his creator honors him. Shouldn't I honor him too? Even the evil and cruel emperor Hadrian is depicted by the Midrash in our tradition as having slowly, not initially, but at least slowly, having come to understand that his elders, even from among his minority Jewish subjects, right, that have merited the reward of long life from God, the divine king, and thus deserve that same kavod, that same honor from an earthly king, and all the more so from the rest of their fellow human beings. Today, especially in light of the last 15 months of the COVID pandemic, we are beyond thrilled, and I mentioned this earlier, we are beyond thrilled to welcome so many of our Sherith elders here in person and others with us on Zoom as well, to be honored as part of our annual Golden Year Shabbat. Last year, we weren't able to do this in person, of course. We did this online, so this is really a very special gift to be able to gather again this year. Our other congregants and guests may not be aware that we mailed a letter from the Klei Kodesh to each of our seniors age 80 and up in our shul, inviting them to participate today, and included in it Shabbat candles and a box of matches to usher in Shabbat last night, and also symbolically remind them and us of the light and joy that each of our seniors bring to our Sherith family with your presence, your volunteerism, your wisdom, your voice, your desire to learn and teach, your warmth, and most definitely your smile. Our community is so much the richer for your presence in months and years past, today in this present moment, and going forward. as we continue to grow our congregation and its levels of engagement across all age demographics. We look forward to continuing life and our shul's journey with you, and offer you this special blessing today, written by Rabbi Dale Friedman, entitled A Blessing for Growing Older. May you see the blessing in all your days, notice beauty and sweetness, and be amazed. May you love without bound, ever feel God surround. May you mend and tend, may you learn without end. May you see the blessing, may you seize the blessing. May you be a blessing in all your days. How many adventures you've had on your way, delights to be sure, also loss and dismay. Your vision has broadened, your heart opened wide. Your wisdom deserves to be prized. You know now what counts. With the rest you are through. You hold paradox and see gray, it's true. No more playing safe, from your core you'll not veer. Treasure this moment, it's dear. To the elders in our community, we offer you the beautiful words of Psalm 92. Od yenevun b'seva, t'shenim v'ra'ananim yiyu, lahagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avla tabo. May we grow fruitful as we age, ripe and abundant and sage. Keep our hearts open to all we face, present to goodness, even a trace. Renew us, let our spirits soar, sustain us, our rock, God, for more. We join together as a community in reciting the Shechianu for reaching this special milestone today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Praised are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us in life, who has sustained us and enabled us to reach this joyous milestone and occasion of Golden Year Shabbat and our being able to gather together once again. May each of our seniors and our whole community continue to go from strength to strength. Amen. We'll turn back now to our Sidurim and continue with our service. Page 184, we'll find the Chatzi Kaddish to introduce Musaf, to be followed by the Amidah together with the Chazan Drebker, 185 through 187, and then a chance for our own private prayers, 188 through 192. Please rise.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה קירותי, וימליך מלכותי, מחיי יכולנו וימכולנו בחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריבה הימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולא מעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויעלה לשמי דקדושה בריחו להלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
185.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך אבותינו ואימותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד ומשיח ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מקיים